Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video. Uh, Off the top of this video, I always forget to say this, but I just want to remind you that we also have a few written briefs. They're not really, I won't call them articles because they're not that long. They're just sort of briefs. Please read them and share them. They're pretty good. But for the most part, they're actually, I say, timeless. Not to make them too highfalutin sounding, but timeless because they're subjects that are ongoing and never seem to end. For example, the Democrats' war against children and sexualization of children. That's been going on for a while, and it's going to continue to go on as long as they groom kids in schools and as long as they murder children in the womb. There's also one about the Democrats' Marxist agenda, which is never going away, because there are Marxists and elements in the Democrat Party that have a Marxist agenda, and there are many things that you see in the news that are geared towards that. You may not realize it till you see the big picture. Mark Levin talks a lot about American Marxism, so that's in there. Things about religion are in there, which are sort of timeless. So anyway, I'm going to put a link to my briefs and articles in the description of this video. Please check them out and please share them. I'd appreciate it a lot. So this morning I'm going to do something completely different. I've never tried this before because there's so much going on. It's like it's hard to, and I've done a lot of videos recently, and I want to try something new. So I'm using this service called Feedly, Feedly, FEEDLY.com, and it's pretty good. You can you can choose. You can find all the news sources or whatever sources, websites. I'm doing news, right? Politics and news, and you can find all of the websites you want, and you check on them, and then you create this feed, and so every time they post, it comes. So I have what I have is a long feed coming from all my favorite news sources immediately, right? So I see immediately when Fox and Breitbart and OAN and Newsmax. I've got a Gateway Pundit on there, Conservative Brief, a few other ones. It's great. So what I'm going to do, like I said, this is something completely different for me. I'm going to start going down this news feed and just hit on some stuff that's brand new, and it's important. So, for example, right off the top here, North Carolina serial offender accused of mowing down teacher. He was in and out of revolving door jail for 2 decades. Well, thank you very much, Democrats. You and you're always kowtowing to criminals. You always seem to take the criminal side on everything and screw the American people, just like you do with this illegal alien guy. And so what do? You keep letting this cat out of jail, and what did he do? He just murdered a teacher, mowing down. Apparently, so he was, um, he was impaired while driving. So there you go. What's next? Real ID. A real ID appointments added as New Jersey residents struggle to get new identification. You know what, man? The same idiots who work in government office, the same DEI hacks who can't get a real job, they're the same people who let illegal aliens and phonies and fakes have the regular IDs. You think they're going to do any better job with a real ID? I mean, I get the concept of the real ID, but in reality, it's just bull. It's not the way to do shit. Whatever real ID is trying to accomplish would be better accomplished simply by enforcing the laws on the book, like what Trump is trying to do. Here's a great example: the border. The border was wide open under Biden, and he lied through his teeth when he says, "Well, I don't really have the power to act. I need Congress to pass this, that, and the other thing." Bullshit. He was a liar. There were so many laws on the books, they just needed to be enforced. That's why when Trump stepped in, immediately the border was sealed, proving that Biden was a liar. But did the fake news media call Biden a liar? No, 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 not at all. So the same thing here. Real ID. Obviously, real ID. We're trying to prevent illegal aliens, criminals, terrorists, blah blah blah. It's much better to just simply enforce the laws that are already on the books instead of putting all the people in New Jersey. Now they're all having to go down to the DMV and get new IDs, and it's going to be a bunch of horse shit, and it's a bunch of crap. So, next story: Saudi Arabia is paying off Syria's World Bank debt. What's that about? So I see that. My very first impression is this is not a good thing, right? But then I remember something. When Trump was president in his first term, the Saudis loved him. I mean, they rolled out there's video of this stuff. They rolled out they gave him the grand royal treatment, man. They love Trump. So what I'm hoping is that this could be a little, because they were recently over there. This could be a little tiny piece of a grander plan that we don't see. This may be a little nugget in part of a plan. They're negotiating with the Soviets about Ukraine, right? Maybe the Saudis helping the Syria is a little nugget that we're throwing to the Russians, and then maybe there's some other nugget that they're going to be throwing to us. Maybe this is part of a Trump grand plan. That's what I'm hoping. Because on the surface, just all by itself, Saudi Arabia paying off Syria's World Bank debt would not be a good thing if it was just all by itself and isolated. But I'm hoping that this is actually part of a bigger plan. And of course, there's no way that the fake news is ever going to understand that. These people are idiots. They don't understand jack. Okay, we're moving down the line. Mark Zuckerberg on the stand. Crazy and scary ideas led him to buy. Who fuck Mark Zuckerberg? That dude is a punk and a bitch and a lying sack of shit. And no matter what lies he has been telling recently about free speech, I'm here to tell you they recently banned us like a couple of weeks ago from Facebook. Just a couple of weeks ago. Why? Because I posted something very simple. I didn't say anything mean or rude. I didn't use foul language or anything out. I said simply that transgenders suffer from a mental illness. I got immediately banned. Why? They claim it something about their community standards. That's a lie. Who's the fucking community? Everybody is on Facebook from A to Z, from every belief, from left up and down, left and right, God believing, atheist, whatever. How can you say that me making a simple statement doesn't fit? What community are you talking about? Your community, you don't got a community and you don't got no standards. All you are is fascists with free speech, just like you always have been. Facebook is nothing but fascist book. You cannot make a simple statement. So fuck Mark Zuckerberg. That dude's Biden was out giving a speech. Whose bright idea was it to have Biden go out and give a speech the other day? That dude is just as senile and he starts babbling about black kids on the bus and asking his mom why they don't go to the same school, and black kids, he said they call them colored kids. What? Just dude, what? How hard up do you have to be as a party to drag this fucking fossil out onto the stage? Oh my goodness. Here we go. From Breitbart 4 hours ago. Trump and Doge. Trump and Doge. I'm assuming that this means Trump and Doge are putting forth the idea to deny federal housing and job benefits to illegal aliens. Well, of course. This is what I was talking about a minute ago about just simply enforcing the laws. They are illegal aliens. Well, what is it about fake news and leftists that just can't grasp the most simple concept? Illegal aliens are in this country illegally and they've got nothing coming. Nothing. No benefits that belong to U.S. citizens. No job benefits, no federal housing, no nothing. They have no rights. I don't give a fuck. Listen, man. I think I'm I believe in the Constitution and I believe in law and order. I believe in enforcing the law, but I also believe that the executive branch has a obligation, let's say, for an obligation to push back against abuse of power. When the judiciary when the judiciary abuses its power and goes into areas where it does not belong, the other branch should not obey. Well, what is it? Why is it that we give judges and judge rulings such godlike that they can just rule on shit that's none of their fucking business? What if a judge ruled that all Catholics have to wear a red hat from now on or a green hat? I mean, you have no. When everybody said, "Well, that's what they said," you have no right to make rulings beyond your sphere of. Now, illegal aliens are in this country illegally, and they need to get taken out. How can a judge say no? You can't remove illegal aliens who are in the country illegally. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. And so, you know, I'm not quite sure how I got on that, but but the news story is that Trump and Doge are wanting to deny federal housing to job benefits and to illegal aliens. Oh, that's right. I'm saying people just can't. Of course, they need to deny it. They're here illegally. It's a no-brainer. So anyway, I spent too long on that one. Let me move on down. ICE slams Maryland, the sanctuary city, for releasing illegal migrant charged with murder. Again, like I said a minute ago, what is it with the left? They love criminals. They love people here illegally committing crimes. The other day, Trump said that CNN hates America. And that fake news whore, Dana Bash, got on CNN and said, "We don't hate America." Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Um, when you constantly support illegal aliens and criminals who rape and murder American girls, when you support them and you don't give two shits about the American victims, you hate your country and you hate the people in it. So fuck Nina Bash. She's a liar. CNN is fake news and CNN does hate America. But this America the sanctuary. Well, let me see. I'll go ahead and click on this one for a change. The sanctuary city is Baltimore. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh no, ICE Baltimore says that the sanctuary county, I'm sorry, sanctuary county of Prince George's County in Maryland. So everybody get on social media and start screaming at them. Prince George's County in Maryland is a sanctuary county. They denied ICE's detainer request and they released an illegal alien guilty of murder. What the fuck? What the fuck? Look at this. Uh, what's this idiot? This is on Breitbart 4 hours ago. The fashion, the director of the old movie Home Alone 2. Remember Home Alone 2? He's got a brief cameo by Trump, remember? Home Alone 2 director wants Trump cameo cut out. This is actually not new. I've seen this story sort of bubble up every once in a while back. I think it was actually the kid in the movie. What was his name? Macaulay Culkin. He said he wanted Trump cut out of the movie. See, now this is just Trump derangement syndrome. We're gonna do that. It was a funny scene. It was kind of humorous, right? Why are you gonna do that? Why are you gonna fuck up your own movie just because you hate someone? And the reason you hate him is based in lies. Because everybody who hates Trump hates him for reasons that are simply not true. That's the danger of fake news, but that's another story. Ah, here we go, ladies and germs. The feds refer Letitia James to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. Oh, this is sweet. I'm gonna have to read a little piece of this one. Are you ready for this? William J. Poulter, director of the U.S. Federal Housing Agency. William J. Poulter, director of the U.S. Federal Housing Agency, the FHFA, referred New York Attorney General Letitia James, the DEI queen, to the Department of Justice for prosecution of mortgage fraud. You know, these assholes, these corrupt assholes, always get caught on something because they're corrupt. They may not get caught on what they should be caught for, right? I mean, she should be disbarred and prosecuted for weaponizing the justice system and falsely accusing Trump. That's what you should be tried for. But you take what you can get, right? Who was the big old uh the remember the big mob guy back in the Untouchables back in the 30s, the big Chicago, I can't remember what his name was, the big gang mob guy. They never could get him on any of his crimes, but I think they ended up getting him on tax evasion. This guy's out murdering. These guys got multiple. They couldn't catch him, but that's how taxes kind of. I think that's the first time that taxes really nabbed somebody is when they said, "Man, we can't seem to." He seems to be covering his track pretty good on the murders. Let's see if we can get him through the back door somewhere. And they got him on taxes, and that's how they put him away. I can't remember what his name is, man. I'm sure some of you already know it, but that's pretty interesting. So anyway, um, anyway, back to the article. Athena Thorne wrote over the weekend. This is pretty good. We're talking about Letitia. No one is above the law, James, a poster child for the weaponized justice system that tried to sandbag and impoverish Donald Trump and put him away for the rest of his life. As they say, if you're going to take a shot at the king, you better not miss. Or in this case, you better not have an apparent pattern of fraudulent real estate transactions. It figures. Oh, the irony. The irony that Trump is a real estate mogul and a successful one, and this DEI skank is really the one involved in fraudulent real estate. And she's the one who tried to charge him. Oh, I love it when shit like that happens, man. I hope that bitch goes to jail. What a nasty skank. CNN's Scott Jennings slams the Democrats over defense of Harvard. That is, well, yeah, I tell you what, man. I've made a couple videos about anti. I posted something on Twitter recently or X. I said simply, if you dislike the Jews and you blame the Jews for all sorts of problems, then not only are you a tool of Satan, but you're also a fucking asshole. It's kind of like Hitler. He was definitely a tool of Satan, and he was an asshole. Yeah, I mean, anti-Semitism is just, there is no, look, How is it that the Jews should stand out as the one people who have been enslaved and persecuted and just tossed about from here to there for like 4,000 years? From the time of Moses, when they were the slaves under the Pharaoh. And then for a brief time, they had the kingdom of Judah, the kingdoms of David in the lands of Judea. But even then, the Romans marched in and they occupied them, and they set up a puppet king, right, and Herod, um, and and that's when Jesus was around. So they were still a country, but they were an occupied country with a fake king who was a puppet of the Romans, right? And then the Romans destroyed them, and then they've been wandering about for another 2,000 years after that. And for centuries and centuries, Europe used to persecute them in these things called pogroms, and persecution of the Jews. But the Europeans are horrible anti Semites. They always have been. You know, they say Hitler was a monster. Well, yeah, Hitler was a monster. But to be honest, Hitler was really not that much different from a lot of other Europeans. Europeans have been persecuting Jews for centuries. The Europeans are fucked up people, man. I think we should get out of NATO. But again, that's another thing. So, anyway, anti Semitism is a sick, disgusting evil which is actually spiritual in nature. And these people at Harvard and many other colleges too, but Harvard, you know, they're anti-Semites and they're sitting on a $53 billion endowment. So anyway, what is this? Anyway, let's take a quick look at this. CNN Scott Jennings slams Democrats over defense of Harvard. So I'm not quite sure what hold on just a quick second here. Let's see what he's really saying. Scott Jennings, the lone voice of reason, recently knocked the Democrats, pointing out that once again they are on the wrong side of the popular issue. Trump has made the demands that Trump has made on the school are very reasonable and are in line with public sentiments. So Trump is withholding billions in funding. Good, good. Um, what the hell's going on here? Well, uh, anyway, Trump is sitting on money for them, and they don't want to give up their anti-Semitic ways, so fuck them. I hope they go broke. They don't really teach good stuff anymore, anyway. Anyway, the video is running long, so I'm trying to find a couple more things here that are really, really good. Well, a whole bunch of Gorkas in the news. Tim Walz, Tampon Tim is still shooting off his mouth. The dumb bastard that thinks young boys in schools need tampons in the bathroom. What a fucking dickhead. Why is this guy even giving it any credence? Tampon Tim says that Trump thinks nuclear war is winnable. I'm terrified that he will act on. Oh God, this covers. You know what, people, man? This is going to be the last one for the video because this covers this. In his stupidity and ignorance, Tampon Tim has actually reinforced many things that I have said. One of them, go look back at a couple of my videos. That the only thing Democrats can do is spread fear because their policies suck. They cannot talk about immigration policy. They cannot talk about foreign policy. They cannot talk about tax policy, monetary policy, right? The only thing they can do is spread fear. And what does Tampon Tim say? I'm terrified. Trump thinks that nuclear war is winnable, and I'm terrified. I'm terrified he's going to act on it. Listen, you stupid shithead. So first of all, well, I'm not going to go into nuclear. That's going to take too long. Nuclear war. So we'll forget about that. But Trump doesn't think nuclear war in the true sense of a nuclear battle between two nuclear nations. He doesn't think it's winnable. And there's no reason for Tampon Tim to be terrified. Let's not forget that Trump was already president for 4 years. And I don't think we had a nuclear war, right? If anybody is pushing us towards nuclear war, it's the Democrats who keep wanting to fight Russia right on the Russian border. This is it. And so there's another thing. So the first one is the fear mongering. So he reinforces what I say about Democrat fear mongering. And the second thing is he reinforces just lies and lies regarding the Ukraine. He's unwittingly done that because he's terrified of Trump and nuclear war, but he seems to be forgetting that it's Biden and the Democrats who are pushing the Russians right on the Russian border in the Ukraine where we don't belong. Look, listen, Tampon Tim. Do you remember a little thing called the blockade of Cuba and John F. Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis? The Russians were right on our border, or right off of our border, right off of our coast, 90 miles off our coast, and they came close to our country, and we were not going to put up with it, and rightly so. But you want to go right onto the Russian border and expand NATO right onto their border and go in and send in planes and missiles into Ukraine right on their border. What do you think they're going to do? You stupid idiot. We do not belong. I don't give a fuck what the Russians are doing. First of all, we do not belong on the Russian border. That's the last place we belong, man. China is bubbling up. We've got the Middle East. The last place we need to be is on the Russian border. And the second thing is that the Ukraine is not a country we should be defending anyway. They are not a democracy. Zelensky is not a Democrat leader. Okay, it's not a democracy. He's not a Democrat leader. It's not a democracy in any sense of the term. So, and frankly, Russia has a claim to that land going back to the time when the United States was created in the 1700s. In fact, in the 1600s, Catherine the Great, the ruler of the Russias, annexed the Ukraine to Russia as part of a big a treaty that was signed with Poland, and all kinds of pretty complicated. But this all happened in the 1600s. So the Russians have had that land for as long as the United States has even been a country. So who are we to step in? That's a lot of history there that Tampon Tim sure doesn't understand it. The dude's a fucking moron. And most Democrats don't understand it because they don't even know what a woman is. But Russia has claim to that land for a lot of reasons, and we have no business being there. So Tampon Tim is scared of Trump starting nuclear war when it's actually the Democrats and a few war hawk Republicans are really starting in Ukraine. So I think that's about it. I think that's about it. I've gone kind of long. Blah blah blah. I don't see anything special here. Yeah, that is about it. That's about it. Anyway, please like and share our recent videos. Some really good stuff there, especially about staying the course. I'm gonna put a link to that one in here. I'm gonna say it again. I think this is going to be the theme going forward for the rest of the Trump presidency, and that is stay the course. Do not let the voices of fake news get you nervous or get you wobbly kneed. I'm gonna be real quick here, but I'm gonna bring up just two analogies super fast. First one is Ronald Reagan. We all remember Ronald Reagan, 8 years. Ronald Reagan, the great Ronald, one of the greatest presidents ever. In fact, I would say that it's a tie between Reagan and Trump to be the greatest modern modern president ever. And Ronald Reagan did great things and he saved the economy, but in his first 2 years, his poll numbers dropped and his plans took time before they started working. It took 2 years before Ronald Reagan's policies were able to turn things around and make it work. Because it takes time. The United States is a big place, man, and it takes time for policies to trickle through the system and start having an effect. So stay the course. Stick with Trump. He's only been president 5 months. For God's sakes, show some balls. Don't get all wobbly-kneed and worried and, oh, the markets, and fuck all that. Stay the fucking course. So that's the first analogy. And here's the second analogy. Here's the one I like to make. So Trump's election this time is just the first victory in the first battle of the ongoing civil war. The ongoing civil war is going to be going on for a long time, and you have to stay in the fight. Whatever you did to get elected, to get Trump elected, if you were donating, you're out pounding on doors, you're canvassing, you're making calls, you're donating money, you're starting a group like Moms for Liberty, whatever you're doing to get Trump elected, you have to keep doing, because the war is going on. Trump is, that's just the first battle. That's all. Can you imagine if the troops landed on Normandy Beach in D-Day and they said, "Hey, we took Normandy. That's it. Let's kick back and relax, man. Let's relax. It's all good." No, that was a great victory, but it was just the first battle in the drive to Germany, and there was lots of ups and downs along the way. That's what this is, people. So stay the course. Do not listen to the naysayers. Do not listen to the people who are getting all weak and wobbly-kneed. We don't need people like those in our foxholes. This is a war, and you have to keep fighting, and you have to trust Trump. Trust Trump and stay the course. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. So anyway, thanks. Please like and share the video. Please like and share my briefs. That's pretty funny. I didn't even think about that. My articles, which I'm putting a link to in the description. Yes, click the links, like and share them, please. We're not making money off of this, thank God. I'd be pretty poor if I was counting on this for a living. And I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.